You are now listening to WDCY 90.5, the station providing you with what you need to know. Hello and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host Danielle, and today we'll be discussing a very important issue, domestic violence. Domestic violence affects everyone from the victim, whether it be male or female, to the victim's families and their children, which are raised around the domestic violence, and also including their friends and co-workers. Domestic violence victims can either be male or female, and believe it or not, there are men in the world who have been victims of domestic violence. Today we will have a variety of guests to discuss the issue. We will have counselors, representatives from the Safe Shelter of Savannah. Our first guest today will be Jacqueline Owie, who is a counselor here at Savannah State University. Ms. Owie, could you briefly explain what is domestic violence exactly?
Domestic violence is actually the use of physical, sexual, economic, emotional, and or psychological abuse by an intimate partner or family member to control the actions of another. And while most people think of it in terms of a woman being battered, because that tends to be typical, men also are battered, and children too are battered in domicile type situations. It may be called different things, child abuse and so on.
What is a common question or myth that's asked regarding domestic violence victims?
One question that people always ask is, why do they stay? They don't really want help. Why do they stay? And I was talking to one student this morning and he was like, I just don't understand why they stay. That's their problem. They don't really want help. And then I started to talk to him and help him understand some things related to the economic issue. And when they start to think about how am I going to manage, especially because shelters aren't long term.
And do you have any advice that you would like to leave with students or for the community regarding domestic violence and the domestic violence abuse situation?
I just want to remind everyone out there that help is not a bad four-letter word.
I would like to thank you, Ms. Owie, for taking the time out of your schedule to speak with me today on domestic violence. Real Talk will be right back after a brief commercial break.
Hey, have you ever woke up in the morning thinking, what will I do with my hair this morning? And by the time you decide, you get fed up and just throw it in a ponytail. Well, those days are over with our new wonderful silk brush. You can wake up in the morning, brush your hair, and leave the house with a fresh new look. It gives your hair the glossiness and the fullness as if you just got a fresh new perm or a wrap from the salon. It is the same great look without the hour-long wait at the salon and for half the money. So give us a call and order your wonderful silk brush and leave the house every morning with your hair looking fabulous. So call us at 1-800-345-FULL. Call us today for free shipping.
The 21st Century Community Learning Centers program is an after-school program that helps students who are in high poverty and low-performing schools. These students often struggle on standardized tests in their core subjects areas such as literature, mathematics, and science. The 21st Century Community Learning Center program offers a broad array of services, programs, and activities to reinforce and complement the students' regular academic programs. To find out more about the 21st Century Community Learning Centers programs, check out your child's school to see what is available.
WDCY 90.5, the station providing you with what you need to know. Welcome back to Real Talk. I'm your host, Danielle, and now have with me Miss Cynthia Bush, who's a representative for Safe Shelter here in Savannah, Georgia. The Safe Shelter is actually an acronym which stands for Savannah Area Family Emergency Shelter. The Safe Shelter is a private non-profit agency which is dedicated to the victims of domestic violence and their children. Ms. Bush, with that brief introduction of Safe Shelter, could you please tell me one interesting fact or one little known fact about the Safe Shelter?
The Savannah Area Family Emergency Shelter, and our signature color is purple. And a lot of people may not know that. The reason why that particular color was chosen is because that's the color that bruises turn in a few days. That's how we got that color.
Ms. Bush, could you please tell me a little bit about how the Safe Shelter came about?
This particular organization, which was started actually by 4 women right here in Savannah, Georgia. And they were local women that realized that there was a gap in service provision in Chatham County for families, women with children mostly, to go should they have to leave their home because of a battering or abusive situation. And those 4 ladies, I would love to call their names because they don't like the acknowledgement, but we have to acknowledge those who started the agency. The first lady was named Norma Bruin, Lucy Brannon, Miss Harris Lentini, and Caroline Armstrong. Those 4 ladies began to ask other service providers here in the community, would they be able to donate a couple of rooms or a couple of beds or a couple of spaces for women who would call police departments because they were battered with their children in tow, and no one was able to provide those beds. So those women sought out the financial backing that they needed to get the first Safe Shelter opened up and built. And it was opened up September 15th, 1980.
Are there any warning signs of domestic abuse?
When you first get involved with someone in a relationship, if they're moving really fast and they want to get really serious really quickly, that would be one of the signs that you might want to take a pause and think about where you're really at with it. If that person is constantly monitoring your time, either doing it by cell phone or text message, or showing up at your home unannounced, reading your email or your regular mail, anything that would be considered a little over the top would be considered as a warning sign. Making really fast friends with all the people that are in your life. Maybe being a little more than just critical of the people that love you. Maybe trying to monopolize most of your time would also be a warning sign that you can't all be together.
Ms. Bush, if you're a domestic violence victim or you're in need of contacting or getting help from the Safe Shelter, how exactly would they contact you?
We are in the front page of any phone book right next to fire and police. 629-8888. 629-48s are great.
Thank you, Ms. Bush, for taking the time out of your day to come speak with us today about the Safe Shelter and domestic violence. This has been another episode of Real Talk. I do thank you for taking the time out of your day. I'm your host, Danielle, and there's one thing I would like for you to remember. You have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. Please have a nice day and stay blessed. Bye-bye.